the roads and the infrastructure you've done, and the propaganda as you describe it, or the criticism that you have faced is that with the Maendeleo or Chap is that yes, the road will be there today, but after what, a few months down the line.
But we made, let me, you know, and those are people I tell them, you know, shut up or keep quiet. We made Kidimani Mombasa Road nearly 4 years ago. It is still there. It is still there. Used by lorries, everybody, it is still there. We made the Kakuyuni Road. It is still there. I made the Devki, the river roads. They are still there. We finished the Muaro. They are still there. So these people who are just spinning propaganda are people who are still caught in what I call the web of hopelessness. They are still stuck in that colonial mentality that says an African cannot do things as well as a European or an Asian. And I want to tell them, sorry, Maendeleo chap works, and we're not even moving at the speed of others. In China, they're building a kilometer a day. Here, we're building a kilometer in 1 month. What is that? When will we ever catch up with the West? When will we be able to industrialize and move fast the way they do in Dubai, the way they do in Germany, the way they do in the Americas? Mutua is hardly doing anything compared to what others are doing. Just because they're white people, does it mean that they do better? You know, we have this culture in this country. Instead of appreciating what has been done and learning from it and copying and adopting for the service of Wananchi, we try to pull each other down for politics. People are afraid. They're afraid to see a shining star. They're afraid to see focused development to the people. Look at water, for example. I promise that we'll have water in every household. This is a process. We have to harvest the water first. We are building river weirs so that, I mean, I've never looked at documents. I've never seen a document where my people signed an agreement with the Indian Ocean that all our waters, Sanyesha, maji itaenda Indian Ocean, alafu baadaye tuko na rivers of sand. So we need to stop that water. So, you know, I'm building 2 weirs every sublocation, etc., etc.
All right.
And so when people say this criticism, it's because they're not here. I mean, I have dug over 350 boreholes, more boreholes than all the other 47 counties combined.
Okay.
And these are facts. You can get into a car, you can drive to the village, you can see the solar panels, you can see the other ones that you are waiting to equip. They are there. These are things that we've been able to do, and thanks to devolution, people are seeing a change because decisions are being made from the ground. Let me tell you something very simple. Toilets. Do you know the other day I was in another county and I saw a woman running, and she ran to a ditch. But we're on a raised road and then some grass, and she closed her eyes and squatted because she wanted to relieve herself. And then she got out and looked away the other side and walked away. It's a mother. No toilets. This is primitive. Third world. This is where Europe was in the 1700s.
Okay.
So, you know, so devolution has enabled me to build toilets. You know, I'm building free toilets. I just gave out a tender, it's been given out. We're going to build an additional 100 to 200 toilets so that no mother in Machakos has to squat in a bush.
All right.
Because of devolution, improve our sanitation, and other things.
And let's go back to the larger devolution conversation, and more specifically an issue that you have personally as well dealt with in this county, the deputy governors. We've seen a number of questions and issues in other counties, but you did not get along with yours the first time. For most of it was a lot of what was described as bickering, and that even perhaps affected some of the work in the county. To what, why did we have that kind of a scenario in the first place?
I think it's because of political interference. For example, the former deputy governor that I had, Bwana Kiali, is not a bad person. He's a good man. We started off well. But then he got sucked into the sycophancy system of being told the Kambas have a kingpin, so you can't be with a governor who has his own mind, who says, first you serve the people, you don't serve politicians. And so he got sucked into that. At the very end, he came to meet me and he apologized. He said, I'm very sorry. I wish I had just stuck with you. I got, you know, used and dumped because he was used and then he was dumped.
Yeah.
A ticket was given to somebody else. So a lot of this was if you find a lot of governors who had problems with their deputies, you will find there was a senator involved, you'll find there was a majority leader involved.
Yeah, and the spirit of my question
in terms of that,
is how do we deal with this to avoid scenarios where, because they have no roles outlined in law,
but,
so how can that be
the
handled?
roles are there. It's the same. What role is there for the deputy president of this Republic of Kenya?
It's explicitly written to assist the president.
Exactly.
For the deputy governor,
and for the deputy
they're
governor,
really at the mercy of the governor and whatever roles they assign.
No, it is also written. It's the same way as the president. The president will assign duties to the deputy president, and the deputy president will assist and even chair cabinet and even take over when the president is away. It's the same for the deputy governor.
But why don't you see that kind of acrimony at that level? But yes.
Because up there are no senators trying to influence the deputy governor to fight the president, the deputy president to influence the deputy president to fight the president. But here, our deputy governors got in, and people told them, you know, if we can remove the governor, you can be the governor. And some of them got conned. But I can assure you, in this new, system where we've come in, you will not find those problems. Those were what I'd call teething problems. Mm-hmm. People did not understand their responsibilities and their roles. Others got greedy. And also I have to admit, maybe there were some governors who who felt threatened because they had to partner with somebody they didn't like so as to win. You know, where you come from one region, so you just chose somebody who you don't like from another region so that you can at least carry the day and you're not able to work together. There's
a big question around when we chose to go the way of devolution, that you're devolving power and resources, that many thought the emotive nature of our presidential, especially elections, would then not be the case because then power is closer. You have your governor who's like a president in your county and then resources closer. But still, even with the last election, we have the same scenario. So what do you see as being the challenge so far? Because then we're not solving that particular very dangerous nature of sometimes the manner in which our politics can go.
If I may say so, that's a brilliant question, Sophia. You see, the challenge we've had is that, and this is the way I explain it, is that Kenya has been in transition. We've been in a phase of transition from colonial imperialism for the last 50 years. The first president, the second president, the third president, and the fourth president have been transitional presidents. And they have been able to lay the foundation for real development. And so when we started, all our leaders, all our systems were tribal, because that's what we inherited from the colonial powers. It was about kingpin then, keeping that, kingpin of even a kingpin who had never been to school was a kingpin, making decisions of people who've been going to school. You know what I mean? So we've gone through that transition. But where we are now, and my take is that when I look at the works that were done with Jomo Kenyatta, build KICC, the airports, the foundation, Moi did his work, Kibaki with the infrastructure, and the four principles or the four pillars of Uhuru Kenyatta, those are what I call foundation for our country to be able to fly. Now what we need now is a new way of thinking and leadership in this country that will enable us to fly, to be like the tech economies, to be like Japan, to be like Europe. You know, it's like how Europe went through a Renaissance period, and there was a period where they said, we've had enough. Now it's a time. And Renaissance was about tribal affiliations, the crusades and all those things. Now it's about time for industrialization, which made America and Europe what it is. That's where we are in Kenya. People are starting to realize the power of devolution. The first 5 years were challenging. Now people will start choosing their leaders, not from kingpins, but from people who worked on the ground, like they do in the US. So governors are going to ascend into national office because they've been able to prove what they can do, regardless of your tribe.
Yeah. We are devolving corruption. We are devolving negative ethnicity. So is this thing working, devolution?
It is working. It is working. But you see, we've only had, what, 5 years? I think it's too early to start saying it is not working. 5 years of great advantage. I mean, look at Machakos. The people of Machakos are much better off than they were. Even I had a team from the World Bank here talking about economic indicators of Machakos, where they were. And you can even look at the property, for example.
Yes.
When I became governor, you could buy a piece of land on the highway here, an acre for 200,000. Go today, you'll part with 7 million. Properties have gone up. Economies have changed. You know, when we built our stadium here, before there was just, you know, mchanga, Now we have international matches. You find Amze stopped me and said, before you became governor, I only had one shop of fish and chips. Now I have 3 and a petrol station. And that person has employed 20 people instead of the 3 people that he had before. So the economies are growing. And this is not just in Machakos. This is being felt all over the country. Things are changing. And so the next 5 years we'll be able to tell how this country is going. In terms of devolution.
Do you think there's overrepresentation at all levels? Because you have, at the county level, there's you, the governor, you have the deputy governor, the woman rep, the senator, the MCAs. Is it too much? We still have the MPs and the MCAs.
It's similar to what they have in the US. You know, in the US you have the structures which we copied. It's similar. It's not about
But is it working for us?
It's about how it is used. When MCAs are used properly, their job is to check the governments in place, not to frustrate development. Their jobs are to harmonize and harness things to enable people to move. It will work. But in Kenya, with the so-called kingpins, tribal kings who are lords of the poor, we can never go anywhere. Because I don't understand how you want to be called a kingpin and your people are poor. You want to be called a kingpin when you're the only one with the only house.
But you seem to want to oust Kalonzo as the kingpin.
I'm not ousting anybody. Hakuna mtu amekalia kiti ambao needs ousting. You know, leadership comes from God. And what we need to do is to focus our people, telling them you've been conned. My people of Machakos, for example, my people of Ukambani have been conned for so many years. They have not received their rights. The leaders, you know, sit in Keren Club, sit in Modaika, sit in the big clubs, you know, fly big planes, they have big cars, their children get jobs in Arusha and others. Whereas the masses, wako tu hapo, you know, pledging a loyalty. And we want to tell people times have changed. This is a new era. We are not going to be puppets of people whose lives are okay. Because our people also need to have nyumba za ghorofa. Nyumba za ghorofa si za wakubwa peke yao. Our people also need to have electricity. You go to places where there's not a tarmac road. People buy helicopters so they can fly home. The community is poor, then they are okay. Lords of poverty, I may call them. You know? Yeah. So it is about that's what we need our people to be able to learn. People, you know, people say that, you know, communities get the leaders they deserve. But it's all about education. It's all about hope and aspirations. But I'm a hopeful person because the fact that the Machakos people, regardless of the NASA wave, regardless of that push of demonizing Mutua, because I had the courage, I'm not a coward, to stand up and have my own party and my own stand and say I'm going to campaign and run again regardless of the wave and win. It's not about me. It's a testament to the people that there's a wind of change blowing. Okay. There's a wind of change blowing.
As we bring this to a close, 5 years on for devolution, as we stock take, for you, what is the one thing you think is important at this point to improve on, to change, to remove, any kind of alterations to make this work better for Kenyans?
I think for devolution to work properly, we need, you know, it's been said a lot, but we need a kind of a synergy. I would love to have a place whereby the governor, the deputy governor, the MPs, the MCAs, the senators are able to sit together, strategize and work together. That I hope is happening in counties where you have the same political party. But it should not matter. You know, I wrote a letter inviting my MPs to come, we sit down on a function. You know, the wiper ones never showed because they have to call their party leader first for permission. You know, and inasema ni ubatili wa mwisho. And that kind of mentality has to change. But I know I'll call them again and they will come. Because these are our people.
Yes.
And the focus, Sophia, the focus is not us. The focus is that poor mother who's been walking for 5 kilometers to get water. That breaks my heart. The focus is that mother, that daughter of ours who is sitting at home, just hanging around until she gets pregnant. Yet she's smart, but she can't find any means of employment, even to buy her own clothes. Right. That young man who is sitting there worried because hawana kazi, bodaboda zimechukuliwa na amesoma, hajui atafanya nini, cannot even ask a girl to marry him because he has nothing in his pocket. We've got a desperate situation in our country. People are suffering. And unless we change our politics to focus on Mwananchi and our policies and our actions and our money to be poured down on the ground, things will never change.
What will be Dr. Alfred Mutua's legacy?
My legacy will be doing things that have never been done before. I'm going to have massive infrastructure development. I'm going to bring the Western world to Machakos. I'm going to show Kenyans that it is possible. I promised I'm going to build a new city. I'm going to build that city. That city is not just a city. It is what I would call the worm at the end of Andoano, you know, that is meant to attract fish. Because my plan is to build as many factories as possible. Every ward to have 2 to 3 to 5 factories at the end of my next 5 years. So that we can provide employment. I want our young people to walk with pride with money in their pockets. I want our mothers to be able to sleep and be comfortable in their homes because they're also created by God, because they have money. It's all about show me the money. I want my people to be rich. I want my people to have money. And talking about money, hunger and starvation has nothing to do with lack of rainfall. We need to get that out of our heads, that it's all just about rainfall. Saudi Arabia, they hardly grow any food. Israel, they don't grow as much food as we do. Yet they don't suffer. Why? Because they have money. If I have money, people live in Nairobi in apartments. Hanunui sukuma, hawapandi sukuma wiki ama hawapandi unga, but they have money. They can work. Even people are empowered. Whatever they have, they're able to sell and trade. They can work. Then they can buy food from the areas that are raining, where they have food, and they don't starve. So starvation and hunger is an indicator of abject poverty, not an indicator of lack of rainfall.
It's your second and last term as governor. What next, President?
I've already declared that when I look at these 50 plus years that we've gone through, those are transitional years. Now this country needs a leader who is not just a political leader, but a leader who can transform this country to take us now. A leader will get Kenya to fly. A leader will get Kenya now to soar to the great heights, the same way Singapore soared, the same way Australia soared. And so I'm putting my name up for election in 2022, and I've told President Uhuru Kenyatta, maliza kazi yako State House, nichungie State House, kwa uwezo Mwenyezi Mungu, I'll be the 5th president of the Republic of Kenya, so that this country can soar and we can get our rights, because hata sisi tuliumbwa na Mwenyezi Mungu.
All right, thank you.
Asante sana.
Thank you very much for the time.
Thank you very much.
Appreciated.
Karibu
All
sana
the best.
Machakos. Asante.
Asante.